What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Volume Podcast. And today we are going to be talking about the Red Beetle. No, I'm just kidding. The Blue Beetle. So, as always, sit back, relax, and turn it to 11. All right, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode 109. That's kind of crazy. But so today we are talking about the Blue Beetle or Blue Beetle. Is it the Blue Beetle or Blue Beetle? I think
it's just Blue Beetle.
Man, I'm just going to say the because there's only one. I mean, there's three people, but there's only one Blue Beetle. So we're talking about Blue Beetle today, and we have Xolo. Once again, even though I'm Hispanic, guys, I'm gonna jack up these names because names just don't come to me. So I'm gonna say his name. I believe it's pronounced Xolo Maridueña, playing as Jaime or Jaime Reyes. We have Jenny Cord, who is played by Bruna Marquezine, I think is how you say it. And Rudy, played by, oh my goodness, is this right? George Lopez? That's crazy. I haven't seen George Lopez in forever. And the movie was, for real, I'm not even kidding you. I haven't seen him in a hot minute. So
I see him on TikTok a lot.
Oh, okay. I don't follow him on TikTok. And we have our director, Ángel Manuel Soto, and our writer, Gareth Dunnett Alcocer. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name, which means to sew in Spanish. But yeah, that is some of the people in the cast and writer / director. And I hope let's get into it. Let's just rock and roll.
Yeah, you said that writer's name. I thought it was Alcocer.
Alcocer?
And Alcocer. Yeah,
Alcocer?
Like Alcocer. I don't know. But my very small amount of Puerto Rican blood doesn't help. So anyway, going into the movie, before we start, y'all, if you guys haven't seen Blue Beetle, please stop, pause
right now.
Go watch it. Come back.
Yeah.
All right. Because spoiler alert. The mightiest of spoiler alerts. Yes, exactly. That's what my iPhone or pad sounds like when I have to wake up.
That's what my father-in-law's phone is every time anybody calls him. It's just, I'm like, is it like red alert? What's going on?
Gotta wake up. So we open up to the characters Victoria Cord, played by Susan Sarandon, and Conrad Carapax, played by Raul Trujillo. And you see Victoria and Carapax kind of just like glazing around this excavation site, and they are looking for a scarab. And this scarab seems to have been something that they've been looking for 15 years. We don't really know about it yet. I mean, unless, of course, you know the title of the movie. It's Blue Beetle. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for the blue scarab. I like the term scarab a lot better than beetle. But that's just me.
But like rolling off the tongue though, like the blue scarab. Okay, that's okay. The Blue Beetle. You see, like it rolls off a little bit better. And I think there would have been a lot of people probably who's like, "What's a scarab?"
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, because my War Machine faction has
scarabs.
Yeah. And I was like, why does it look like a king crab more than a beetle? But you see that open up, and then boom, you go to Jaime, and he's at the airport, and he had just finished his undergrad. He just got his degree.
Do you know where? Wait, actually,
Gotham.
Yeah,
he got a Gotham. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he went to he got his undergrad in Gotham, but that's definitely where he was planning to go for his law degree for law, because it was Gotham Law on his sweater, which I was like, oh, that's pretty sick.
I saw
so
that.
That was pretty cool. But yeah, he's back home in what's the place called?
It's Palmera, Paleta.
Palmera,
no, because there's like three names. There's like three names for it.
Well, he's back in the Keys because that's where they live, apparently.
The Keys, the Edge. Keys. Well, the Edge Keys, right?
Yeah. No, East Keys? Edge Keys? I don't even know. But he's back home, from college.
Palmera City.
Palmera City, which is interesting because I think in the comic book he's actually from Texas, El Paso, I think, or no, Austin, Houston, one of those. But that's where the Blue Beetle is actually in. So it's kind of interesting that they changed the location. I don't know if they did that. I don't know if they did that in like the revamped versions of the Blue Beetle, like in the new 58, 51.
In Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That place.
From the comics. Yeah. It's a city in Texas, not in Florida.
Interesting. Well, I definitely thought they were in Florida this whole time because the way they was very Floridian. That is actually correct. But so he's back home, right? Like you said. I've said it like 5 times now. And my favorite part of that like scene is when he's like putting on his little graduation hat and he looks at the guy behind him. He's like, "How do I look?" He's like you're $60,000 in debt. I'm like, yo, that's so true though. I was like, crazy. It's crazy. You know what's sad about that though? Like the reality that as much as it's, I guess if you want to even still believe it to be true, I don't even know if I believe it's true. But we all say, going to college is important, and to some degree, I think it is. But in my opinion, the quality of schooling for the amount that you have to pay for it, not worth it, right? I don't think you get your money's worth when it comes to going to college for whatever degree you want, right? Even as a doctor, because you're going to be in debt for like over a decade, even as a doctor.
And that's why like scholarships are so important. It helps your college experience because there are a lot of, what is that?
Grants, scholarships.
There's a lot of scholarships and grants. You have to keep up. You have to maintain a certain GPA, and and you have to take certain classes. As long as you can do that, like a lot of it is a lot easier for you to get through school. A lot of people just think, oh, I'll just pay for college and that's it. And that's not really the case. You definitely have to work the system, and the systems, there's a ton of them there. I have a friend who's a civil engineer, and his schooling, I want to say this year, was it this year or last year? I think it was at the end of last year or beginning of this year. And I was like, he's one of the first friends I've seen
that pays paid off his debt.
That pays it. Yeah,
I'm still in mine.
And he has I'm still in mine. But I mean, I don't do what my degree.
Neither do I.
Anyway,
which is the sad part. That's so true. True. Let's go back.
Yeah.
All right. So he's back home.
College students, don't be afraid. Okay. There are grants and stuff like that for you.
Do your due diligence for sure.
Yes. So you enter the family because they're all waiting for him at the end of the escalator. You see the dad. You see the dad Alberto, and you see Nana, Mila, and the mom. Rocio, I believe her name is.
Rocio?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see them all kind of just gather around and just super excited to see Jaime after so many years. I want to say he's been gone for about 40. So
probably, most likely.
So he's about 23 years old in the show, or in the movie, excuse me. And I'm just like, oh dang, like he was gone for a long time. And obviously Mila wants to tell the brother because he's I guess he's the one, judging by how Mila treated Jaime. He was the star child, the one that had all these, and it actually helps her because she can do whatever she wants.
The curse of being the oldest, that's for sure. Yeah. I know that struggle.
Yep. And so you get to see the whole family and how tight knit. And then Uncle Rudy, of course, picks him up in is it a Silverado? I thought it was like a Dodge Ram or something.
No. So I didn't catch this until like by the way, I hate going to the movie theaters these days because I swear I'm cursed with getting people who do nothing but talk in the movie theater all the time. But this girl behind me, and this is the only time I appreciated her talking, because the name of the truck was Taco, right?
Yeah. Tacoma.
Yeah, because it was a Tacoma. Yeah. I didn't catch that until like halfway through the movie. And I'm like, how slow am I?
Dude, that's so
Taco
funny.
The Tacoma.
When I was in Hawaii this past January, my keyboardist was like, oh, there's a taco. We're on the freeway in Oahu. And I'm like, where do you get tacos here in Oahu? I was just like, I mean, there are places, but I'm just like, we're on the freeway. And then I'm looking around and I'm seeing a bunch of Tacomas. I was like, oh, Tacoma. He's like, yeah, taco. I was like, oh, I also learned this year Tacomas are called tacos.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
By the way, so Mila.
Mm-hmm.
So her full name is Milagro, right? Which in Spanish translates to miracle. That's actually what her name is, miracle in Spanish. But I was just like, I don't know if at first, because I don't know a lot about Blue Beetle, especially Jaime, right? And so I don't know if he had siblings in the comic book. But I'm thinking to myself, why would Milagro be the name you chose for the daughter? Because Milagro is kind of a hard word to say. If you're not a fluent Spanish speaker, Milagro is kind of could be a little bit difficult for people to. I just thought just let people know who don't know.
I didn't know anything about the Blue Beetle's family. I just knew he was in the Teen Titans.
Yeah, that's the only thing I knew about him.
And Young Justice, you know what I mean? I've known him in those, and I always thought he was a cool character. I was just like, yo, isn't this guy kind of too powerful? In my head, like I was just like, isn't he like he's very similar to me, like Green Lantern? If you remember, you hear Kajida or Kaji, the suit. You hear her say, "Whatever you think of, I can do," as a like a weapon or something. And I'm like, that sounds a lot like Green Lantern's power.
Oh yeah. I can see that. Know? I can see that.
And like, so in my head, I'm just like, man, if a super nerd got a hold of like a Green Lantern ring, or if the Scarab chose that person, the weapons he would come up with, you know what I mean? I could just like, and that's why we're here, the Nerdy Volume, because what would we do with that Blue Beetle power? You know what I would do? No, I'm not gonna share. I'm not gonna share right now. Maybe later. Maybe if it comes up again. Anyway, so after the whole family gets together, they go home. Mila, boom, at the dinner table. Wait, no, they were at a restaurant, I believe.
Yeah, they were
at the restaurant. She's like, yo, Jaime, fam's not doing too hot. Gotta sell the house. And he goes like, oh, I guess we gotta, work, put more hours in the shop. In my head, I was like, that does sound like a normal, like, oh yeah, we gotta do that. If you gotta sell the house, the shop would have probably been the first thing.
I agree.
I was just like, your dad, according to the rest of the movie, was the realist. Okay. He knew what to do for the family and how to do it. And he did it. And that's like, he was always like, don't worry, things will be just fine. I was like, he's probably lived like that his whole life. He had a shop, he had his own house, he got a full family. You know what I mean? I'm like,
you also have to think that, remember when Rudy was talking to Jaime, he was telling him how since he was, I think, was it 16 or 19 or something like that? That Alberto was taking care of them from when he was a child. So he's already he knows, he's been working hard his entire life to provide for the family. So yeah, I completely.
And it's so crazy too. Like whenever you see, because he's talked of as super, and then like a lot of times you just see him with his family, and I just realized that every time he's with his family, he's at peace, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, so it's really crazy how he's not really tripping about losing the house. He's like, don't worry, we can make memories anywhere.
Yeah,
And then everybody else is like, no, and so. That was really cool to see
he's definitely the glue. He's the glue that holds the family together.
Mm-hmm. He's the glue and the hammer.
Yeah.
And no, the hammer's Nana. Or Nana.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. So Jaime kept calling his mom and dad Ama and Papa.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was more of like that an Asian saying, like in Crazy Rich Asians.
Right,
that's what Nick's parent referred to as his parents. He's like, you want to meet my ama,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I guess,
I will say, and I only know that because I just went to Mexico with a friend of mine. We went on a mission trip out there, and he was calling his parents ama, apa, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I have never, maybe because I don't live in Guatemala, right? Because I left when I was very young, but I don't know if that's maybe just a Mexico thing, right? In Mexico, they say ama, apa, or if it's a whole Latin America kind of thing. You guys out there, if you live in if your family is from a different country, like, other than Mexico, I mean, let us know if if that's a thing that your family says or not. Because in Guatemala, I don't, because for those of you who don't know, I am from Guatemala, and hearing my country said in this movie a few times makes me proud and sad at the same time. Because it doesn't get a lot of recognition, and unfortunately when it does, it's never good.
Right.
So, but I don't remember, I don't think that's a thing that they say in Guatemala, but I could be wrong. I would have to ask my parents to see if they say that in Guatemala, ama, apa, because as far as I know, I just call my parents pa, ma. I don't have the a at the beginning, or mami, papi, ma, pa. That's pretty much it. So, but yeah, that didn't surprise me, just because I've heard it when in July when I went on that trip. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
And so I was just like, a pot. I was like, and I believe they are Mexican, right? That's how they.
Yeah. They are
Yeah,
Mexican.
they're Mexican. Yeah. I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that they refer to their parents like that. So that was a little refreshing.
And it could be a regional thing too. Like it could be like only like certain parts of Mexico that has that, like, because my friend is from Tijuana, so it could be that it's like a Tijuana, more of a Tijuana thing than, and not so much in like the southern parts of Mexico. So
right.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't know where that, if it's a whole thing or what, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, so you were saying that, so
yeah, I thought that
you're about to lose everything.
That Jaime's suggestion was a little not out of pocket, but it makes sense. He's been gone for
optimistic.
Yeah, very optimistic. And he finds everything out that, like, oh no, we don't got the shop no more. We don't have any money coming in and all this stuff. And he's all like, then he makes this decision, like, then I got to get a job. And then everybody's like, what about grad school? He's like, I don't need to go to that. I got to help the family out. And then that's what Dad's like, no, I got you. I'm just all like, I was like, go get them grants, dog. That's the first thing I thought of. Go get them grants. I was just like, you got this. That'll help. And then you can get a job. With your stuff. And he went to look for a job, and he only landed. It was funny too, because he's like, we're gonna have a big house, infinity pool looking out into the beach, and it cuts to the scene from the trailer. Dude, it was awesome. And the fact that Mila was with him in the job, and she's all like, come help me take out the gum. And so he's like, taking it all out, and then she's putting new ones in. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm trying to keep a job here. And I'm like, that's pretty brilliant, not gonna lie. To keep your job, you create, kind of like the spyware people. You know what I mean?
Keep putting the gum still.
You put new gum, so you got work. You can come back and work again. I was just like, that's hilarious. I know that a lot of there's some nightmare stories about mechanics doing that, and that's not good.
Right.
And so, but it's so funny to see her do that. Mila just go whatever, here's new ones. We're trying to work here, all right? We're trying to work. Then you introduce again Victoria and Conrad or Carapax. They're walking into the residence, and Jaime's like, yo, what's up? Completely ignored. Enters Jenny Cord, played by how do you say her name? Bruna Marquez. Oh,
Marquezine, I think. Marquezine, yeah. Bruna Marquezine.
And you find out that Jenny is the niece of Victoria. Now, I was just like, oh, that's the niece? I was like, huh? I was like, wait.
I had the same thought in my head.
And you don't see her dad or mom, and you don't see Victoria's husband, or I guess, well, no, she's her dad's sister.
Right.
And so I'm all like, she got red hair too, I'm like, what a cast. But I love the actress. So I was just like, oh, she's gonna be terrible. Watch. Like character, not actress. Character. She's gonna play it good, like a good terrible character.
Oh, you're talking about Susan?
Yeah, Susan Sarandon. Yeah, she has that. She has that act. Her acting is where she can act like a very evil person with a very innocent smile.
Yeah,
and there's no malice behind the smile in her eyes, but because you know who she is as a character, you know that it's just nasty, and I just love it. And so you see, you see Jenny just sitting down. She kind of has her like elbows on her knees, kind of thing, like, yo, Auntie, what's good? Why are you doing this?
Right.
Why are you making weapons? We're not about that. And she's like, I'm just trying to bring up the old past, yada, yada, yada. And what's really cool about actually the niece and the aunt is that although the aunt does a lot of important things for the company, the niece did respect her to a point, because later on in the movie, you see that Jenny talks to Jaime about the grandfather giving the giving the company to her dad instead of Victoria, where even she thought that Victoria should have gotten it, because I believe she's the older of the two, right? But
because she's a woman, she didn't get. Yeah, her dad didn't.
Do you think it's sexist? And when Jenny said sexist, and Jaime's like, and I was like, oh, so Jenny doesn't completely hate the fact that Auntie Victoria's, doing what she is. She just doesn't like the meth, you know?
Right. Well, and
so
I don't think she knew how evil she really was at that moment.
and I think that's why Victoria got actually along with Jenny because of that, because of their patriarch family, the patriarch. Boom, you know, that's just like yeah. And I was just like, oh wow, that's cool. It's really cool that Jenny is kind of conflicted because you know family, right? And from what I see, Victoria is Jenny's only family. And so anyway, Jenny's getting yelled at, ridiculed by Victoria in front of Jaime. Jaime is like, yo, chill. I was just like, good job, Jaime. Go help that beautiful young woman that's probably just as rich as the auntie, you know? You know what I mean? Like, go help them rich, good looking ladies. And then enters Mila from the bathroom. I was like, the timing couldn't have been any better.
Jaime is not the best lookout out there, no. For sure.
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure. And they got fired right then. I thought that was pretty funny. That Mila's just like, no worries, I got this. Like she's living life on the fast lane, you know. Then later on, you see what happens after they get fired.
They get fired, so they go outside, and then Jenny says that come to the Cord building, and I'll give you another job, right? Because she feels kind of bad.
How lucky is that?
Yeah. So, you know, he starts stalking her IG, typical stuff.
Heavy.
And yeah. And the next day goes to the building, and of course the rest of the family, typical nose issues guy. The rest of the family comes along with him, and they start cheering him on. I'm like, bro, I would hate to be there. I would hate to be in your shoes as everybody's like, Jaime. and what's his name? Rudy is like just like talking about burning down the Cord building and whatnot. So I was like, oh, bro. So yeah, he goes inside looking for Jenny, waits for Jenny. Of course, the front desk lady thinks that he's just to help or, you know, not anything important because he's Hispanic. And so I'm just, it's what the movie was portrayed. And so, but you get the whole, he's waiting. Meanwhile, Jenny goes inside, steals Mr. Sanchez's key, like a pass card or whatever you want to call it. And goes into the laboratory and finds that Auntie Vicky has found the blue scarab. So she grabs it, puts it in a big boy burger.
Belly. Belly.
Big Burger Belly was the I think the name of the burger joint.
Yeah, that's the DC burger joint.
And so she puts it in there, takes it outside. Sanchez comes back in, finds out that it's not in there, and he starts freaking out. They call down to shut down the whole building because, you know, it's been stolen. And he's very terrified of Victoria. So, but in the process, Jaime finds Jenny. Jenny gives him the box, tells him not to open it. You see this part in the trailer. Don't open it. Don't touch it. Protect it with your life. And he's like, okay, protect it with my life, but I will not open it. He takes it home and
to his family. Tight. They're all tight. Okay.
and they're just like, well, what's in it? I don't know. I haven't opened it. It's like, why haven't you opened it? It's like, because she told me not to. It's like, I don't see her around. Just open the box.
That's exactly what my family would do too. I was just like, no, let's not. And I would just put it away. Like, I wouldn't keep it on display. I was told not to touch it, so I'll just leave it in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, bro. And so
hilarious.
That was actually pretty funny when the family was opening it, you know?
Yeah.
That's the first thing you think of, especially with the people that you trust. And I guarantee the family's not going to say anything because obviously they're like, we got you. You said no. Okay. But between us, you know, between us, let's let us get the juice. Let's get the tea. You know?
And so they do open it. I mean, they do. Either Ruby or Mila is either of the two opens it. They see the scarab inside. They start messing with it, and they play monkey in the middle with it, not giving it back to Jaime. But eventually Jaime grabs it and somehow activates it because, well, you'll find out that the scarab chooses its partner, host, however you want to say it, and it chose him. Attacks his face like a freaking psycho cat, and everybody's freaking out like, what's going on? What do we do? How do we get this off of him? And eventually goes into his clothes, and he's freaking out, and it disappears. And he's like, I don't see it. It's inside of me. It's inside of me. And like, how did it get there? And Uncle Rudy, he's like, it crawled up his butt.
Dude, yeah, it was such a real. And you know what? I got kind of angry with Mila on that, and she touched the scarab. Like, you wanted to see what was inside. Okay, she said not to touch it. She touched it. I was just like, look.
As my first grade teacher would say, look with your eyes, not with your hands.
Yeah. I was like, technically, if you didn't touch, I think it would have been fine. I think it's because Jaime touched the scarab that the scarab activated.
Yeah, you might be right. Because nothing happened until he touched it.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's all your fault, Milagro.
Yeah, Milagro. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry.
Some kind of miracle.
Let me roll.
Some kind of miracle you are.
Yeah. The miracle you didn't get whooped by Jaime.
Right. And after he gets the scarab, he definitely could. But it attaches to him, and it starts doing a system check, which shoots him out of the house, of course, through the ceiling. I'm like, you know what went through my head when that happened? I was just like, man, they just lost their business. They're about to lose the house. They can't afford to patch up a hole in the roof.
Mm-hmm.
But they go through the roof, and he's flying up in the air. He makes it all the way into like the atmosphere or the stratosphere, probably. Who knows what sphere he made it to, but one of those all the way up there, the stratosphere probably. And then it's just doing his systems check. It's freaking out. He cuts a freaking bus in half because it almost runs him over. And then once it's done, he's like, the system's like, okay, we're done, and it takes him back home. He lands back home, and apparently the scarab burns his clothes as it takes over. Why it can't just engulf the clothes is beyond me, but hey, I'm not here to judge. But yeah. So it unravels itself, it undoes itself, so that it's just him again. And yeah, he is butt naked. The scarab is like, it's like infused into his body now. Yeah, it's not just attached, because I'm pretty sure, I thought in the cartoons and in the comics, it just attaches to him,
like a backpack,
right? Yeah, kind of like a backpack. But no, this was like his skin was like starting to grow over it. Looked like it was like infused. There was no possible way of this coming out. I mean, you find out even later that there is no way for it to come out, because it is within every fiber of his existence, right? So, but yeah, you have the whole scene. He's naked. He wakes up. This was probably the funniest part for me. And as a Latino, I mean, anybody who's Latino, or you know this to be a fact. So the fact that the way they woke him up was with a bottle of Vicks, busted up, couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, it's not a Hispanic joke until you pull out the Vicks. And so I was super happy that they did. So that was so funny to me. I could not. That was the funniest part of the whole movie for me, was that, because I'm like, so true. If anytime I was sick, didn't matter what it was, my parents' first response is put some Vicks on it.
I also grew up.
That's too funny.
I've never woken up to Vicks. I normally would sleep with it on, and so I kind of my body, normally just assumes that I'm going to go to bed when I smell that pepper.
Oh, Vicks smells so good though. It's like such I love that.
Soothing.
I love it.
But now today it smells like icy hot.
Icy hot.
Yeah. It was funny that you say that though, about the Hispanic family. I believe there was one behind me and my brother when we was watching it, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, not the Vicks."
Exactly.
Vicks is worldwide, baby. Yeah, I was like, I don't know who created that, but
Mr. Vicks is rich as fudge.
Yeah, he is.
Even now that he's probably most likely dead. But
his children, his
generations will always, whenever they look at like where their revenue is coming from, Latin America is just like. It's like it doesn't even fit the chart.
That's where all his factories are. Just in that area.
It's like, we're never gonna go broke.
I wonder if they ever get sick. Probably not.
Right? Probably not.
They probably make it at home. The Vicks at home.
Yeah, it's like the pure stuff. That's where they keep the real stuff.
Yeah.
The pure stuff. Huh?
So I got a pound of pure Vicks.
That's so funny.
It'll heal everything.
Oh man, but yeah, so that's how they wake him up, and they're trying to figure out what the heck just happened to him, right? So he gets in. He comes to the conclusion he needs to go find Jenny because Jenny has the answers, right? Jenny gave him the box. Jenny needs to know how this works. It's the only thing that makes sense. So he goes out while everybody's arguing what he should do. He chooses to leave. And of course, Grandma's helping him. He's like, where's my shoes? Grandma's here, like handing him the shoes, handing him the shirt, just handing him everything. And then he leaves and he does the most horrible thing that you could ever do to your uncle. Steal his damn taco.
Oh yeah. Oh, he tell it. And wait, did he successfully steal it, or did he go?
Yeah, no, he successfully stole it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then so he meets up with Jenny, and Jenny needs to find something, which is a watch, because I believe the Victoria is now on Jenny's radar, or Jenny is on Victoria's radar, and so Jenny needs to go back to the cord for something, a watch.
But that's a little bit after, because first he finds her on the streets trying to run away from the soldiers, whatever they are, and so she gets in the truck. They shoot up the truck, and she takes him back to his house.
Oh yeah,
right.
And that's where she sees him transform again.
Oh, does he? I don't remember.
Or he just takes off his shirt, and then they're like,
he takes off his shirt, and she sees the scarab attached to him, and the other classic thing happens. Where after Rudy sees his truck shot up, he throws a chancla at him.
Oh yeah, and tells Jenny he can't call her. He can't call him Rudy. She can't call him Rudy.
Only his friends can call him Rudy.
Yeah.
And he hates the Cord family. He hates big corporation altogether. He's one of those conspiracy theorists who believes that the government is listening to your conversation, which is not a conspiracy. That is for 100 trillion% true. We already know that. If you don't believe that the government listens to your conversations, people, you are living under a rock. There is a reason why Snow moved to Russia. Okay, it's because he leaked evidence that America was doing that. So our conversations are being recorded all the time. You're being followed every day
for security measures.
Yeah, sure. Let's say that. Right? There's plenty of reasons why they could be doing it, but let's say security measures.
I have a theory that they could be listening, but they're not paying attention to it. Like, there's probably like millions of conversations going on right now.
True. I'm sure they're looking for keywords.
Yeah, the keywords. Yeah, like essence.
Yeah, exactly. No, tell me this. How is it that I could say there have been times where I've spoken to somebody about, like, in person, not through text messages, not through video, like computer or anything. In person, we're talking about something like a product of some sort. And then 2 days later, my computer and my phone start to show me ads for that specific thing that I spoke to a person in person about.
Right.
I'm just like, really? I never typed this in any of my, like, I didn't check it up on Google. I didn't like web search it. I only said something about it, and now it's showing up on my feeds. My phone is listening to me.
Yeah, I think the same thing, but mine is a little bit, they're a little hurtful. Like, say, like, what's the best burger in town? And then all of a sudden my phone has like workout regimens out of nowhere. I was like, okay. What the frick? You know, you get more burger recommendations, right? You know, more burger stuff. Oh, you like burgers? Here. No, get rid of your burger belly. Big burger
That's
belly.
Hilarious.
My goodness. Maybe I should get your phone.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's too funny. That was good.
Yeah. Because,
that was good.
Yeah, they listen, and certain and there's different replies. It's like, all right, I get it.
That's too funny.
I'm a little thick. Anyway, back to Uncle Rudy and
to reality.
Yeah. DC reality. You see that Uncle Rudy is super pissed off at
wouldn't
Jaime.
you?
Of course, especially if, first, he took the taco. Jaime took the taco. Second,
without
taco
permission.
got shot up. I don't think he would ever get permission,
No,
judging
he
by
wouldn't.
how much Rudy loves that truck. I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
And so you see that. How would you say? You see that he completely rejects Jenny in all shapes and form, even after the fact that Mila's like, she's single, and remember Jaime's like, she's single.
Yeah.
Like he had all these things to say about her, but he's like, oh, what word? Typical dude. It's funny. There's a lot of those nostalgic reactions to things, like you said with the Vicks, like when he finds out that Jenny's single, and what was the other one? The chancla. Yeah. That's definitely the first thing that I thought. I was like, either that or the belt. You know what I mean?
Or the wooden spoon. You need
that wooden spoon. Yeah, but Jaime is also in his 20s, so he would probably get some physical throws in there.
You don't think my mom, if I did something disrespectful, you don't think my mom will pull out the freaking wooden spoon on me?
Mom's is different. I was talking about the uncles and the dads.
Rudy. Oh yeah.
I was just like, I'm assuming they would probably use physical. You know,
yeah, he pulled out. It's like, let me help you, and he threw the chancla at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. He would do that.
And I got to give it up to the hairstylist for whoever decided Rudy's character's hair, because he had like a mullet / pompadour thing going on, and I was just like, this is definitely how I could see George Lopez characters in a show like this, and I was just like, this is perfect. Super perfect.
Okay, you give props to them. I say, why did you? If there was one thing I hated throughout the entire movie,
it was his hair.
Was his hair and his goatee.
The goatee, yeah.
It was horrible. The hair was
hilarious.
It was like so long and just like so. It was just. I'm like, bro, trim that up, man. Make it clean.
Yeah,
And the hair, the whole hair. I mean, it was funny because he had like a little rat tail coming out. Like It wasn't even like the bottom of his head, right? It was like up here.
It's like a small top knot, and he had like
and then the rest of his hair is just the rest of it is just out. I'm like, why is this a thing? But I get it. It was for comedic reasons, but I'm just like, gosh darn it, I hate it so much.
Dude, that was so funny to me.
Let me know if you liked it or you didn't like it. Is it a style? Do you think that's the 2024 the new look for 2024? Let me know.
Definitely watch.
I got long hair right now. Maybe I'll cut it and make a little ponytail right here. I know.
I'm pretty sure he had like a super long mullet, but I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know.
It
was
down,
rough.
Like, it was long. It was long and then fluffy at the top. Too funny. I forgot about the goatee though.
Yeah, it's just like it was like up to like his diaphragm, but it was like it wasn't even like big and strong. It was just it was weak. It was weak.
I gotta say too about Jenny Cord. She's the Cord, and Uncle Rudy already doesn't like her, like you said, and the family is like, I don't really like this girl. And normally, when your son or when the oldest son brings home a girl, like most families are, because they're like, oh, who's this? But not when it's a Cord, apparently. Her family.
I think the dad was okay.
Dad's always okay.
But the dad was just chill. He just like, chill. Hey, he was living our best life, man.
I work. I work hard.
I mean, he used to because he doesn't have a shop anymore.
Yeah. Damn Cords. Damn you Cords. And so after that, you see that she needs to go back to Cord Industries.
Yeah. To get the key.
And that's where she needs to get the key, which is a watch. The watch, yeah. On her way there, you see that Rudy has some kind of mechanism. In my head, I thought that Rudy had like he was more of an engineer, kind of like, Iron Man, or who else? Who else is an engineer?
Yeah.
Like Bruce Banner or something like that,
Yeah, he's a ghetto engineer.
I would say he's a resourceful engineer. I wouldn't say
I'm saying in the fact that he doesn't have a lot of money to do what he needs.
True.
I mean,
true.
You're talking about, okay, you just said Bruce Banner. You said Bruce Wayne,
Bruce
right?
Banner.
You said Bruce
Yeah.
Bruce Banner wasn't an engineer. He was a chemist.
Oh, was he? Oh.
Yeah, he was a chemist.
And then I also said Iron Man too.
Yeah, and Stark. I mean, you're talking about the billionaire.
I'm just talking about, but they're engineers, okay? Well, except for Bruce Banner. Maybe I meant Bruce Wayne for the
I think you meant Bruce Wayne because
he's an engineer.
But I mean, he is an intelligent guy. He made EMP out of whatever the heck he was using, which wasn't
and he had to kick, dude. The kick starting that yo, I was like, I don't know if it's a 90s or 80s thing.
Pulling out the Fonzie the
jukebox. Hey. Yeah. And it was funny. He's like, go ahead, push the yellow button. She's like, push. It's not working.
Push it. I am.
Kicks it. There it is. And I thought that was the funniest thing because I'm just like, it'll probably work with a couple kicks. Maybe one. It should have worked with one because then that would have been more realistic because they're already pressing the button so much. But then, so you see that, they got into the building. She got the key, which happens to be a watch. And then boom, you see Carapax come through with the Almac. The Almac.
Yeah.
And that I'm not gonna lie, the idea that Victoria had, it's scary. It's almost like sentience from X-Men or Sentinels, as they're called. And the way that they're built, they're like just freaking like stocky Blue Beetles. And I'm like, this just seemed like a very like an overkill in power. I was just like, there's gonna be so many people that's gonna want that tech, and you're gonna give it to them. I was just like, that just seems very dangerous.
All about the money.
And it was so weird. I was just like, this is world domination tech because I'm pretty sure that they said in the beginning that the scarab is called the world destroyer.
Yeah.
And if they were to
that's what Jenny called it.
Oh, and if they copied that code like in the movie, multiplied it, you could conquer other worlds. That's crazy. And when I was just thinking about a whole army of Blue Beetles, I'm just like, and I believe it's in Young Justice. Or no, it's in I think it is in Young Justice. You see Bart Impulse. You see the character Impulse, who is the Flash or the Flash of the future. And Impulse comes from a future where Blue Beetle takes over the world. This is and you see that Jaime is no longer Jaime. Jaime is now Kaji. Kaji is the one that takes over, and Jaime is in the body kind of. And so when I'm watching this part with the OMAC or with the prototype OMAC, this guy, I was just like, yo, even this prototype would be freaking gnarly. You could take over worlds with this kind of tech. That's so nut. And you see,
and I think that was like the first fight that he's had, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the first fight with Carapax. Yeah, because he didn't know how to use, but luckily the suit knew how to fight, and it was like opening up like a brand new suit. So it had to it's like right when Blue Beetle started to win, like terminating the enemy. I was like, dang. I was right. Like, whoa. And it makes sense though. You get rid of the threat. And he's like, no, we're not killers. I thought that was really nice. I mean, you don't really get that he's a hero type guy. He never really shows that, which is kind of, I would say, like a detriment to the character, because you obviously know he's a family guy. So, I'm gonna help the fam.
Yeah.
But, you don't really, see him as like some kind of like a non-murderer, but I guess not everybody
honorable hero.
I don't know if I saw him as that. Yeah, but maybe he just didn't want to kill anybody. That makes sense, because he's still young.
To kill somebody, it kind of takes a certain kind of person to have the ability to kill someone.
Yeah, So maybe I'm wrong on that. Yeah, and so that's where he's about to win. He's like, no, don't do that. He gets sidetracked, and Jaime is now on the floor. And that's where you hear Carapax say, your family makes you weak.
Your love for your family.
Oh, your love. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. In my head, I'm like, no, it doesn't. and I'm like, what does that mean, sir? What does that mean for you? That's got to be like a foreshadowing of something. And I believe that was Jaime's first loss, even though he was going to win.
He was going to win, but because he is weak, because he has compassion, Carapax takes advantage of that, almost freaking kills him. But the uncle tail whips his car and shoots out the EMP, hits Carapax. Which, by the way, just throwing this out there, okay? Carapax should have died from that thing smashing into him, because he didn't have his helmet on anymore, and I'm pretty sure that would have crushed his head. Okay, so I'm like, bro, you should have been dead. But that, besides the point. They obviously pick up. He gets stabbed in the side, doesn't? Yeah. He got stabbed in the side by Carapax, and then so he's all injured or whatever. But they get him back in the truck. They're driving away, but they go to the old Cord mansion, which was abandoned a long time ago,
where Jenny grew up.
nobody. Yeah, where Jenny grew up, and So they go in there, and you come to find out Jenny's mom, who is the Brazilian. She's Brazilian, by the way.
Oh yeah.
In real life and in the show, she's also Brazilian, or in the movie, she's also Brazilian. Her mom is Brazilian. Her dad is white. That explains why she is not white.
Is that right? That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because at some point she mentions it. About her mom being from Brazil. Oh yeah, she mentioned when they're talking about her mom. I think that's when she mentions that her mom is from Brazil. And her mom passed away, unfortunately, and she was an artist and all this stuff. Blah blah blah. They're about to have a moment. Her and Jaime. I was about to call him Jamie.
Yeah, they were about to have that moment. I was just like, dang, yo, he's moving in fat.
And there comes Uncle Rudy.
Uncle Rudy. He's like,
the moment.
And he knew it. Uncle Rudy knew it too. He's all like, dang it.
Shucks, man. Sorry. I know. The great part is he's like, nice pajamas. And he like covers the bottom part of his pants. I'm just like, that's too funny. Yo. But so they come you realize that Jenny's dad is not the original, but the second Blue Beetle. Who I forgot the dad's name. His name is
Ted.
Tell you right now.
His name is Ted
Cord.
Yeah.
And he was the Blue Beetle before Jaime took over, and he had no powers. The scarab never picked him, but he used it as his emblem, I guess you can say, right?
Yeah.
And because he was such an intelligent man, he's pretty much Batman, but of the whatever the city is called, I forgot.
Palmera City.
Yeah, Palmera City. But according to Ruby, Batman is a fascist, and and Ted was actually a pretty good guy because he was funny and all that stuff, and he was from Palmera City. So, but yeah, so you see that's who the Blue Beetle obviously we know Jaime, right? So, and Jaime in the comics is the third Blue Beetle. He's not. So there's two other ones before him, and Ted being the second one. And then the first one, his name was, I just had it, Dan Garrett. That was his name.
Oh, yeah,
who is the one who originally found the scarab. With all that, they realize that they have to, I had a brain fart for a second. Oh yeah, so they realize all that, and what is it that they did there? I forgot. They went there. They looked at us. That now I remember. Oh my gosh, I really had a brain fart. So they got on the roof because Jaime is a little upset, and Ruby finds them, and they're talking up there, and that's where you find out that Alberto has been taking care of Ruby since he was a child, working his butt off all the time, and all three of them are up there. They see a helicopter pass over. It's Victoria's helicopter, and they're like, "Where is she going?" And they kind of come to the conclusion that they're going to go and see the Reyes family, pay them a little visit.
Yeah.
So, of course, Jaime tries to activate his suit, doesn't activate, but he knows that it's going to protect him. So he decides to jump off the mansion, and it does activate, and it shoots him all the way to, he starts chasing the helicopter pretty much. Victoria's team makes it there first. They raid the house. They're looking for Jaime, but they can't find him. Jaime and Jenny, but they can't find them. And actually, I think they were only looking for Jenny because they didn't know Jaime had the scarab attached to him yet. But
they did, because Carapax.
Did they? Oh yeah, you're right. Carapax. Yeah, you're right. So they get there. They round up the family. They're about to just kill them in the front porch, almost executioner style, because they're not facing their backs, but they're about to just shoot them up. And Jaime comes down. They start fighting. Of course, he doesn't want to use any lethal weapons. He wants to use non-lethal weapons,
right?
Which, not to be the Debbie Downer, the technicalities, right? But those sonic booms that he had shooting out of his fists, if they're strong enough to push a person, they're most likely killing the person, because that vibration. Think about a grenade or a bomb. If a bomb, the shockwave of the bomb, in a lot of cases, is what kills a person, right? That shockwave goes through your body, vibrates through your organs, and erupts them because of just how intense that shockwave is. If you have a sonic boom and you're shooting people, blah, 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 I'm pretty sure that's as strong or even stronger than a bomb going off. And so technically, their innards should be annihilated. So much for not trying to kill people. Now, anybody who's, you you disagree with me, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's how that would work. But yeah, so he starts fighting everybody. Bam, 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 boom, bam, boom, boom, boom. And obviously he's kicking butt because he's kind of having an idea how this works now. And then there's this like I guess like a big claw thingy that they're gonna shoot from the helicopter.
Yeah.
And so he's about to like shoot his own little thing at them. Unfortunately, this is the saddest part of the movie. Like from here, like right, Papa Alberto, right? He is or Appa Alberto, right? He's trying to run away with his family, trying to protect them. They kind of get away. He gets hit. His daughter comes to help. Oh no, the daughter gets dropped and he gets hit, and they're like trying to do stuff. But luckily, Jaime like shoots a sonic boom at them. Mm-hmm. They get up, and then Alberto gets a heart attack at the worst possible time, but completely understandable because, you know, the stress is too much. Yeah. And I don't know if we mentioned this at the beginning, but part of like on top of losing their house and losing their business, Alberto had a heart attack. Yep. And so that was like another issue that they were facing on top of it. So here we are now, and he's having a heart attack now. And so that distracts Blue Beetle from shooting his rays as like sonic boom at the helicopter, goes for his dad, gets the claw thing attached to him, falls to the ground. They scoop him up, leaving everybody else just sitting. I'm like, this is crazy. Mm-hmm. Because it's like especially for the mom, like Rocio and Nana, like think about it. The conflict now. You have your husband / son laying on the ground having a heart attack. Son / grandson is being dragged away. Yeah. like who are you gonna go for, right? And obviously they go for Alberto. They're just, you know, he is having a heart attack. They're freaking out. They're calling for help. I was like, oh man, this kind of like it starts to feel. I
was an utter wreck during that part.
You were crying.
Oh, for sure. It was sad.
I don't know if I went to watch it with T, and I don't know if T was crying, but stuff like that gets her sometimes. So, but he gets taken away, and then the next scene is pretty much Alberto is in the ambulance, and they're trying to resuscitate him. I think they're doing CPR, and they're using the crash bar on him and everything. Nothing is happening, and pretty much he dies. By the way, Mila does a great job of just like collapsing. That whole moment was so good. Like her like just being destroyed by her father's passing. And so like you can see the whole family just in shambles. We said it earlier. Alberto is the glue of the family. He's what holds them together, right? When everybody else is freaking out and thinking the world's coming to an end, he's like, nah, we're okay. We have each other. We'll be fine. He reminds me of my dad in a lot of ways. The character, like my dad is a lot. He's very similar to him. Like when the storm is raging, he is the calm in that storm, right? And my dad is very much the same. My dad has always been the calm. Like in growing up, we've never had a lot of money. We've gone through our struggles too. But my dad has always been very chill. And it's like we have each other. That's all we need. That's all that we can ask for. You know, everything else, house, all this other stuff is just materialistic. It comes and goes. But your family, that's there forever. That's what matters the most. And so So yeah, to see to me, like I didn't cry, but I was very close to, because like Alberto was such a reflection of my father that seeing him dying was like seeing my dad dying, and that is hard. That was really hitting me, and I'm like, oh man, okay, I need to stay calm. The grandma, Alberto is the glue, but the grandma is the nails that keeps it together too. Because you know, she comes, everybody's devastated, and she just comes in like, this is her son, not son-in-law. This is her son, right? The person she gave birth to. And she goes, we need to go save Jaime. Right. Now is not the time to cry. There is a time to cry, and now is not that time. We need to go. Like, she's just like strong in that moment. Yeah. I was like, this is fantastic. I love this. Like this is what I expect. So I was like, man, that was so good. And like, she just brings the family back together, gets them, like, just encourages them that is, you know, we need to keep moving forward right now, because this is what Alberto would have wanted, right? And so they go, and Jamie comes. Not Jamie. Jamie's the one taken away. Jenny comes, and they pretty much. Oh yeah, they pretty much go. Guts. Because they think she's part of it. I mean, if it wasn't for her, none of this would be happening. Did a ghost knock on your door?
I thought I heard someone knocking, but it's not from my door. It's somebody knocking on yours. I'm just like,
but
is it Victoria? Victoria, I don't got the scarab.
Neither do I. I mean, I'm wearing blue, but it's not me.
I'm wearing navy blue, so
So yeah, but Jaime convinces them that she can help them. They go back to the Blue Beetle's lair, get into the Blue Beetle flying machine. I don't know.
The beetle wing.
The beetle wing, yeah. I don't know if it has a proper name, but yeah, the beetle wing. And of course, you come to find out that Nana is not just a grandma, but a survivor of her revolutionary days. She was a revolutionist, and which makes sense. I mean, if you know anything about Latin America countries, they're not stable, and they haven't been in a very long time. Guatemala was horrible. My dad has told me stories of when he was a doctor, how the guerrillas would come into the village, and they just took him. They took him because they had injured soldiers, and they knew he was a doctor, and they would come and he's like, "You're the doctor?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Well, you need to come with us because we have soldiers who are injured. We need them. We need you to patch them up." And they would take him into the jungle, and he went and patched them up, and then the guerrillas told him, "Okay, all you have to do to get back to the village is you walk." They drove him into the jungle, and then when he wanted to get back, they're like, "You see this path? You're gonna take this path. Go straight. Do not veer to the left or right. Go straight, and you'll make it to the village. If you veer, we have soldiers following you. They will shoot you. So just go straight in the middle of the jungle." So my dad, I mean, he lived through those moments. I mean, so seeing Nana be a revolutionist, I'm like, doesn't surprise me. My wife was not a fan of Nana being a revolutionist because to her, she's just like, she said, it was like kind of like a cliche because grandma is the one who like, it wasn't surprising to know that she was like this bad mofo kind of,
right
underneath the sweet grandma exterior. She was hardcore underneath. And my wife was like, it was kind of cliche to me. And I'm like, I can see that. But at the same time, I understand because Nana probably was a revolutionist in some part of that, in her time period.
I think that it makes it, for the cliche part, it actually makes sense because if you're thinking about it, this is a standalone original film. So the cliche things is definitely it has to happen because this is technically the beginning. If it's cliche, but it's cliche that happens in like Blue Beetle 3, then okay.
Right. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. I was just like, watch, the grandma's like super crazy, or like, she got a pad.
Yeah, and she is. Yeah. I mean, she did. And so, when she pulls off her little pin and her hair comes into like
the pigtails.
The pigtails.
Yeah.
So I'm because there is a famous actress in Mexico. Her name was La India Maria was her name, and she's made a ton of movies. Like I want to say like from maybe the 40s and 50s, somewhere around there, or even a little bit later after that. Maybe a little bit after that. I don't know. Somewhere in that time period, she made a lot of movies, but she was very much the same. She had pigtails, and her name was La India Maria. And she was more of a comedic relief kind of character. But I remember watching some of those movies when I was younger. And I was like, oh, these are so funny, and they were they're all in Spanish. But I was wondering if her doing that was a reference to La India Maria. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
So
maybe it is.
So yeah, they go to save Jaime. Right, they go under the ship, and they're gonna go, and she comes up with the plan and everything. Yeah.
Oh, and Jenny gives them like weapon, right? So Nana gets the Gatling gun, and I'm like, all right. And then I believe the mom. What did the mom get? She got like a regular gun, right? And then you had Mila. She had the boxing glove,
like a force field.
Yeah,
glove.
I'm
thing.
like, yo, what? That tech exists?
Which that glove. That glove, it looks like, I think was it Nintendo that had a glove like that?
Nintendo.
There was a glove. Yeah. Was it Nintendo or was it a different?
What do you mean they had a glove like that? I don't think they had a force field.
No. Because it was a glove that had, because they had a little D-pad on it and some, and there was a console. I can't remember which, I want to say it was Nintendo, but I could be wrong.
It's probably Nintendo, but I don't remember having a glove like that for a console.
Yeah, man.
Maybe Dreamcast.
All right, you explain the next part. I'll look for this glove.
Okay, and so the whole family, is now like they split up. Jenny and Mila looking for Jaime, and then you have Jenny and Mila are actually looking for the scarab, the scarab place, right? Or because I forget what Rudy and them are looking for. Because Rudy and them were supposed to meet up above where where the mass production was. That was their job. Their job was to find the mass production spot. And Jenny and Mila were supposed to find Jaime because that's where the code.
No, so Jenny and Mila were gonna go and destroy the generator and then go find Jaime. And Rudy and Rocio were their getaway drivers and their distraction group.
Right.
By the way, the glove was called the Nintendo NES Power Glove.
NES.
I knew the glove existed. I'm like, that glove. I think it's the glove from Nintendo.
Pique Fire. Oh wow, this looks.
That's the glove she put on her hand.
This looks like those gloves that people today would make on a budget. But today or back then, this is cutting edge right here. Actually, if you could put it up for the people who's watching,
Oh yeah, I'll definitely put it up.
Yeah,
it's gonna be right here.
And if you guys don't know, if you guys are listening on any of the the streaming platform or the audio platforms, go ahead and Google Nintendo Power Glove or NES Power Glove, and you'll see it. Oh my gosh, there's one going for $209.
I can imagine. I don't remember having one of those, but I remember seeing them, and I was like, "Well, glove, that's pretty cool."
All right, so we got the generator. That's what the girls are looking for right now, and then Jaime. Jaime somehow is able to get out because Dr. Sanchez, who isn't Dr. Sanchez, his name is where is it? Jose Francisco Morales Rivera de la Cruz.
It had to be. I mean, it couldn't be anything else.
He has, and this is all after the fact that they finally did get the scarab code out of Jaime without killing Jaime, which because the whole time we thought that he would die by the time the code is figured out. Once it's figured out, we thought it was it, but they found it and he's still alive. I was like, oh, dope. And then Victoria's like, yeah, kill him. I was like, whoa. And so,
right.
Jose de la Cruz, I want to shorten his name, and he ends up having a change of heart because he didn't want to kill this kid, and he's like, we can still learn so much. I was like, yeah, that's a typical scientist right there. He's like, we could, there's so much more to learn, and because of that, he saved Jaime and tells Jaime to run. And in the midst of all that, Carapax, did a number on that dude.
Yo, that part was kind of messed up because he gets loose from the machine because of the generator going down, but he couldn't exit the building. And so what's his face? Jose de la Cruz puts in the code to let him out of the building. And as he locks it up again, he said, run. You can just see her mouth, I'll be okay. Carapax rush just like disintegrates his body. And I'm just like, oh, I guess not.
Yeah, I was just like that. Do you not know who you're in there with? I was in my head. I'm like,
yeah,
it's kind of dangerous. That dude is messed
But now
up.
Carapax is at 100%. He has all of the information of the blue scarab inside of him, inside of his the OPAC. Oh no, the
OMAC. Yeah,
the OMAC software or whatever you want to call it. So now he is fully red scarab. Yeah, so that. He starts chasing him around the freaking place.
Yep.
I just banged my mic. Sorry, people.
And you see the whole family getting into it. You see the freaking beetle climbing up the wall. It was funny because they were getting shot at, and then it fell in the water, and then it's gliding gliding on the water. They started floating, or they turned into a boat. A boat. Then from a boat, it turned into a regular beetle, and you see the whole freaking thing just climb up the wall. I'm not gonna lie, that is probably one of the dopest hero plane I've ever seen. Because you got the invisible plane, and you got the bat wing, and he all of its toys. But this plane or this jet, this beetle wing, had mostly what beetles can do: swim and climbing. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, that's dope. And what made it even better was that it was an older model. So it was like it wasn't made in the year 2023. Like it looked like it was made in the 80s, to be honest. And
Probably.
if that existed in the 80s, wow. Because most of the time, Batman's movies, all of his tech was always up to date with what was current in the real world. So like if
Maybe
there
the
was
90s.
What do you mean? Oh, you're talking about the Beetle wing?
Yeah,
Or
just because Jenny is in her 20s, so she must have been born in her 90s.
But
so
it
the dad
happened.
must
It
have
had to have
been
happened before she was born.
well, the construction of the Beetle Wing.
The whole thing, yeah, I think that was probably
Because he was still the Blue
youth.
Beetle. He was still the Blue Beetle after she was born. He didn't stop being the Blue Beetle.
That's
because
true.
remember after the wife died, he dived deeper into the whole Blue Beetle situation.
You're right. Maybe he built it when it could have been the 90s. Had to have been the 90s because she's the same age. Wait, was she the same age as Jaime? Because judging by the position she was in and chords, like being in that position, I don't know if it was what is
he
it
could have
when
matured just quickly.
What is it when impotence? No, impotence.
Oh, nepotism.
Nepotism. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if it was nepotism because she seemed pretty smart. I think that she had a very high position in that company, and if she's the same age as
she was on the board.
Yeah, she was as same age as Jaime at 23, 24 years old. That is a freaking. I was just like, I'm pretty sure that was nepotism. Not gonna lie, because I'm all like, how much? I was like, to get on the board, she got to be at least 30, I think, in my head, right? And so when I'm just like, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. I was just like, she's just a 23-year-old board member, board director. Like, oh, geez, nepotism to the max. But that's just me. Okay.
True.
Anyway, you see that the family is fighting everybody. You see Nana going crazy. You see that the mom.
She's not afraid to kill.
No, she's done it before.
She'll
do it again. Yeah. And you see, and Uncle Rudy. Oh yeah, it was funny. Uncle Rudy starting up the Beetle jet or the Beetle wing, and he just kicks it. Everything starts right up. Jenny's like, "What the heck? How does that work?" I was like, "It's a machine." And so, and then you see the final fight between Jaime and Carapax. And this fight was actually pretty dope because you see that, Carapax obviously has a better understanding of the suit. He's also a soldier. He just has that much more experience with it, right? And he was promised that everything was going to be okay once he gets the power. He got the power, and he's still basically the underling of Victoria. And then obviously Uncle Rudy is trying to help Jaime out through this fight. It looks like Uncle Rudy gets hit and dies, right? And Jaime already found out about his father via a dream, Like when they were getting the code, the only reason why he got back was because of his pop, and this is where I got also in a wreck where he was just like, this is probably why I'm here. I'm alive. I was alive to be here to help you to get. And then there's a Blue Beetle suit, and then that's when he had to touch it to become the Blue Beetle again. And I was just like, that's cool. Like I thought that was cool, and I was freaking I was crying. You see Uncle Rudy die. That's what Jaime saw, and then all of a sudden you just see Jaime just get Super Saiyan with it. He's like, like literally Super Saiyan because the rock started to lift up by him. I'm like, yup, and then he did some kind of power beam and literally pushed him through tons of those Matson containers. Did you see that? He's like this huge hole, and I'm like, oh, he's not dead from that, It's like, geez. And so, and then Jaime was like, you thought you could beat me? I was like, yeah, there you go. Don't know where that attitude's coming from.
And it's just starts freaking
going to town,
beating on him. Yeah,
and then
just going crazy.
And then he gets a knife. He's about to go for it. He's about to kill Carapax, and that's where the suit's like, yo, we're not killers. And I was like, that's right, you scarab, you assimilated. You assimilated. Such a powerful moment. And at that moment, he did something to Carapax, I think. I'm saying Caramax this whole time because if I have
you've been saying
oops
I'm pretty sure you've been saying Carapax.
Okay, because if I said freaking the lip balm, wow,
Caramax.
Anyway, you see that he gets a flashback of his life as a child. He had a pendant when he was getting the scarab code. Once they got it, he had a pendant. It was a woman and a child. I initially thought that was his wife and kid.
Me too.
Then you find out, like the grandma, he lived through some stuff, and they were in the middle of a war.
And where is he from?
In the movie?
You don't know this?
In the movie?
Yeah, where is he from in the movie? Yeah.
Oh, isn't he from?
Yeah.
He is, right?
That's what I'm saying. I was so happy that my country is in this, but at the same time, it made me sad because anytime my country is named in anything, is because it's something bad. And yeah, he's from Guatemala.
Oh, wow.
Going through he was probably in the same time period that my dad was in that time period during the guerrilla wars that were happening. You know,
that's crazy.
So yeah, I was just like, oh, of course. And it was kind of it's kind of funny because you had the whole like parallel with Iron Man 1, right?
Right.
Because what was the bomb that exploded and that pretty much almost killed Tony Stark? Was a Stark bomb, right? But the bomb that almost killed Carapax was a cord bomb.
Yeah, and
so I was like, you saw that parallel?
I did. Whoa.
And they both started wearing armor suits that are red.
Yeah. But he was also made like he was also robotic. Like they messed him up.
He had one arm and he only had one leg. The other two were everything else was he was like half android.
But you got to give it up though. When Carapax was like, he grabbed Victoria. Was like, yo, we have to go. And then he just grabbed her and she's, what are you doing? Da 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 da. He's like, this is for the greater good. And I was like, oh
no, yeah. Because when they were taking away the code from Jaime, she said, sacrifices must be made for the greater good, right? And you're that sacrifice, which is what jogged Carapax's memory, and he remembered that when he was taken from a child after his mom died, Victoria is the one who took him as a child and pretty much raised him to become a soldier, right? A child soldier, right? And became more than that. But that was part of when they were like doing the whole implants on him, the OMAC implants. She said that to the doctors, sacrifices must be made for the greater good. So when he kind of like turned around and realized his life because Jaime gave him a third chance, he's like, okay, yeah. And so, yeah, he grabs Victoria and she's like, what are you doing? And by the way, he activated like the self-destruct sequence on his OMAC, right? So he's about to kill himself and he's dragging her into the fire. And his reply is, sacrifices must be made for the greater good. And it just boom blows up. I was like, that's pretty satisfying.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty good.
Yes, it is. And I was just like, geez, like a very like strong ending, especially since the Carapax character or Conrad came out. You know, he's just like, yo, wow, that really did happen. You know, it's just like all of a sudden he just got this huge wave of memories. And I'm pretty sure the Blue Beetle, or not the Blue Beetle, the OMAC did it because, or maybe the Blue Beetle and the OMAC kind of like, maybe they synergized or something. I just forget how that memory came into his head.
Those memories weren't memories that he was having. It was memories that Kajita was showing Jaime.
Oh,
because remember she said to him, he's not different. He's not that much different from you. Let me show you. And she showed him his memories because they were linked for a little bit when they were doing the download process.
Right, that's right.
So she got into his brain and his memories and saw the stuff that happened to Carapax, right? So that's how we saw it.
Yeah.
But it did jog memories in his head, and that he did say, "I remember what happened." You know, so.
And that's crazy, and that was a really cool character. It sucks that he had to die though, because I would have liked to see more of his character. However, I don't know who.
He had a Darth Vader ending.
Yeah, I don't know who I don't know who the Blue Beetle's main character or rival is, but you know, whenever that person does show up, I hope they're as cool as Carapax was, because you know, he grew on me, and then just like that, he left. And at the end of the movie, you see the whole neighborhood coming together after the whole Victoria Cord escapade, and you see that Jenny is mourning the loss of her aunt, even though she was there. And, you know, you see Jenny pull up. And you know what's weird is that they're all talking about, oh, you know, we're going to lose the house, you know, this and that. And I'm like, no, you won't. Jenny's definitely paying for something. This is all her fault, in a sense. You know, this is all her fault. She's going to pay. And, you know, obviously that's what the family's thinking. Like, yeah, she was saying that she wanted a family like Jaime. And I was like, girl, just join it. become a Reyes. You know what I mean? Become a Reyes, or maybe hyphenate your name. I don't know. You know, that's a new thing. And I was just like, and then what? When she was on the motorcycle, she was about to dip out, and before she did, she was like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this, and don't worry, cord won't be touching this area. It should be preserved, or it should be, you know, made into nice, you know, make it nice again." And she basically hooked up the hood. Okay.
And we can't forget the most important part. She hooked up what's his face? Rudy.
Oh yeah.
With a new Tacoma.
With a blue Tacoma.
Of course it had to be blue.
And his response is like, "Ooh, it's a little bit too much on the nail, huh?" And everybody knows he's a Blue Beetle. Like everybody knows, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't kind of hide that at all, does he?
Nah. And I didn't realize that Jaime, or how do you say his name? Cholo.
Yeah.
He is from Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
He's Miguel Diaz.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, dude, I did not recognize him. I was just like, I remember. I stopped on season 3. I'm probably gonna, you know, watch 4 and 5 soon. And anyway, so when he and Jenny, they have their moment where, you know, they hug and they kiss and whatnot. And when they kissing, I'm like, yo, is she taller than him? I was like, Short King, let's go. I don't know how tall Miguel Diaz is, but she's taller than him. But I'm like, it don't matter though. You got the Blue Beetle. And then that is the end of the movie. I thought the movie was incredible. There's not a lot of things that I didn't like, but I did bring them up already throughout, like how I didn't see Jaime becoming some kind of like chivalrous, noble guy. I just assumed he was just a dude that was really close to his family. Family is everything, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. But then again, a lot of characters similar to him or heroes all have that. Nah, let's not kill anybody. Let's like just stop them. And yeah, I guess there's not a lot to it. I know you said things about his beard, or Uncle Rudy's beard.
Uncle Rudy's beard
and his hair.
Yeah.
Did you have anything that you didn't like about the movie?
Well, first, I just want to say that things I did like about it were some of the things that the people would say, because my dad and my mom do call me, like they would call us flaco, so they did use that a lot, like words of endearment, right? Or what was the other one? Flaco. There was another one they used for him, cabezón, right? Which were words that my parents always used. So I'm like, oh, that's cool to see that it's not just my parents, but it's like throughout. So that was pretty cool. If I had any real complaints of the movie, for me would be Victoria, right? I think she did a great job. I don't think I'm not criticizing Susan's acting. I think she did a great job. Mine is more towards the writing part, because I was like, she's just a typical white person who doesn't know the Hispanic person's name and just calls them. Luckily, it wasn't Mr. Lopez, and it was, you know, Dr. Sanchez or whatever, right? So I was like, why she got to be like that? Why she got to be an ignorant white person?
Right.
Is what I'm trying to say. Right. When your brother was married to a Brazilian, it's like, it's not like you don't, and you're surrounded by all these Hispanics. You would know people's names. You're not that ignorant.
Yeah.
So I think the writing wise, I was like kind of weak on that part, but her acting was great. I loved her character. I loved hating her character.
Yeah.
So, other than Rudy's horrendous hair and goatee situation, no, I actually really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun, and I think partially I could be biased because I'm Hispanic. So a lot of the stuff that was happening is stuff that are, to me, is true. Like a lot of the stereotypes they were talking about was hilarious, because I'm like, yeah, that's so true. The chancla, so true. The Vicks, so true. The Saints, so true. Like it was just funny to me. So I enjoyed it because it was like, yeah, I agree with all of this. Yeah. So I will say this, because my wife was telling me that there were people who were arguing that the movie is racist or whatever because of how they portray Hispanics. My response to that is, get a life, because in my opinion, it's not racist in any way. I thought it was enjoyable. I enjoyed every second of it. I think, yes, it's very stereotypical, but that was on purpose, right? That was the point. They was to show all these things, that like the Vicks, the chancla, of course. You can't have a comedy like that and not put that in. George Lopez has, his entire career is based on making fun of Hispanic people, right? Yep. Because it's so true. And you have George Lopez in this. So what are we complaining about?
Yeah, a lot of people. get a little bit offended by stereotypical things, and it's a little weird. I was just like, you shouldn't.
And most of them are not Hispanics who get offended, and I'm just like, what right do you have getting mad? Like, chill, let's chill. Just enjoy the film, yeah. So, but yeah, so my grade, I give it an A minus. I give it an A minus. I thought it was really good, and I hear that this is probably like the Kickstarter for James Gunn's DC universe, and I'm like, well, he's doing a pretty good job because this movie was pretty good.
It was a good one.
It's up there for a DC for the DC movies. This is up there. I think the only other movie that might beat it is Man of Steel, in my opinion. Man of Steel is probably the only DC movie that can beat it.
That's good. That's a good one. I did like Man of Steel. I did like Aquaman. I did like Wonder Woman 1.
Wonder Woman 1. Yeah. I agree.
I did
like those are definitely the top three. Man of Steel, Wonder Woman 1, and
Aquaman.
Blue Beetle.
Oh, and Blue Beetle. I like Aquaman 1.
Aquaman was good, but wasn't like wow.
That's true. It could have. Well, the character isn't really wow. They don't really love. They don't really give a lot of love to Arthur Curry, but
Aquaman doesn't get a lot of love.
Jason Momoa gets a lot of love, and so he added that. And so yeah, for my grade, I will give this an A. It was a good movie.
Bigger than mine.
I did like that. I did like that. It played it reminded me of a movie that would have been made in the 90s. Not gonna lie. It was just a lot of the boy meets girl. Boy likes girl, and that's and there's no indication of how they got to that gets with girl from the meets. All they did was meet. She had a secret, he kept it. Something happened, and it was her fault. And then all of a sudden, they just like, oh my gosh, I'm so involved with you because we have a secret. And I'm just like, that I like that. That's very, very typical.
That's all you need.
That's it. And so yeah, I give it an A. And the relationship between the family, the dad, even Jenny, I thought it was really good. It was freaking it hit me in the soul, and it definitely needed that in the DC. You didn't really see it in like in Aquaman. You see the brother. I want to say Taskmaster, but that's not his brother. I think Aquaman's brother, or Arthur Curry's brother. The sad part about that was that he thought his mother didn't love him. Their mother didn't love him, but that wasn't the case. She didn't love her father, his father. That's what it was. But anyway, yeah, that's what I thought of the movie, and it's good to think that I'm not the only one that thought that this movie was good. And so yeah, this wraps up this episode, or that wraps up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on IG, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Anchor FM. You can listen to us every Monday on Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to check out our videos, and please leave a comment. And don't forget, turn it to 11.